Hello everyone, my name is Tay from Yu-Gi-Oh! Fantasy and welcome to Rewriting Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters.
Drooling monsters?
Duel monsters, you Nimrod!
I've wanted to take on this project for a long time now and I'm really excited to be bringing it to you. Before I begin though, there are a few things I need to go over. Most importantly, that this is not a way of me saying I could have written the show better than the original, but this is me changing, removing or adding things that I would have personally preferred and maybe you as well. The goal of this rewrite is to focus on potentially darker tones that 4Kids couldn't dare to touch upon in their dubbings, give characters so much more developed arcs and maybe even some romantic aspects as well to give more depth to stories. I also want to say that this episode will be shorter than the ones I'm hoping to bring in the future, as this episode is more to gauge interest and test the waters before committing to what will likely turn into a year-long project, and even more if I follow up by doing GX and 5Ds and the like. So without further ado, let's get into the very beginning. The entire show will start with a quick prologue featuring Solomon Moto and Arthur Hawkins doing some work in Egypt when they stumble across the box of the Millennium Puzzle. Solomon will question, "Is this what I think it is?" as Arthur responds, "The ancient Millennium Puzzle," as we go into that beautiful and nostalgic intro.
It's time to duel!
We open as normal with Yugi and Joey dueling and then meeting the main cast for the first time. Yugi mentions to Joey that his grandpa owns a game shop and could even show Joey a super rare card. Joey gets overexcited, but when it's mentioned the show shifts to a generic looking school kid who's eavesdropping on their conversation. This is specifically not Kaiba and just some guy who knows what Kaiba's looking for. This is only because I don't think there's ever even another scene of Kaiba at school, so why would you set that up that he attends in the first place? We then meet the gang at the card shop and see the man from the intro scene. Clearly he's gotten much older, but he's introduced to be Yugi's grandpa, Solomon Moto. Whilst the group are being shown the card, in barges the new first appearance for Seto Kaiba. He acts like a jerk and mocks Joey and Yugi for being so inferior to him. He offers hundreds of rare cards for Grandpa's blue eyes, followed by money. Both offers are rejected and Kaiba storms out furious. But not deterred. When he leaves, we see a scene of him on the phone, telling his employees there's something he'd like them to pick up for him from the game shop. Following this, we get a scene from later on that evening. 3 men enter the game shop telling Solomon that he has to come see Seto Kaiba right away. Solomon downright refuses, saying Kaiba will never get his Blue Eyes White Dragon. But we cut to a shot from outside the game shop, and we hear some sound effects of a small fight, or in this case, a bit of a beatdown. The next day, the gang enters the game shop. They're looking for Grandpa, but he's nowhere to be seen, and then the phone rings. Yugi picks it up, and it's Kaiba telling him to come collect his grandpa, as he's going to need some help. Yugi, Joey, Tristan and Taya rush to Kaiba's office, which I assume is just Kaiba Corp before they had a name for Kaiba Corp. When they enter, they see Grandpa laying on the lobby floor. Joey and Tristan are ready to brawl, but Kaiba has 3 henchmen either side of him. Kaiba tells Yugi that he's beaten Grandpa for his rarest card, proceeding to rip the card in half right in front of them. The gang are in disgust, but Grandpa hands his deck to Yugi and tells him to teach Kaiba some respect. Tristan and Taya rush Grandpa to the hospital as Joey stays to support Yugi in his duel. But not before the super important moment where Taya draws a smiley face on the hand with a Sharpie to symbolise friendship.
Playtime is over, Kaiba!
Yugi does his first ever transformation into the Pharaoh, and I just want to note that, at least for the rewrite, Yugi's transformation in height and voice is simply for the viewer's benefit and not what the characters see. This way the characters don't seem like complete idiots, other than Joey and Tristan, where that is basically unavoidable. During the first attack in the duel, Kaiba explains that whilst in normal duels they'd be completely holographic, in this duel he's turned off the damage limitations. He has a special function for cases like this which inflict real damage to players and the surrounding area, because Kaiba is a psychopath.
What? Monsters? Real monsters?
The duel goes on as normal because even though it's incredibly scuffed, it is iconic, and whilst I don't want to let too many stupid things happen in duels, it will be hard to change all of them in the first season because the anime came out before the game even had rules. During the duel, also, Yugi doesn't call the right leg of Exodia useless. We simply see the flashback of Grandpa explaining Exodia to Yugi earlier than we did in the original, and he recognises it, simply saying, "Grandpa really entrusts me with these cards? Thank you, Grandpa." From here, the duel goes the same way, especially Yugi flexing on Kaiba with Exodia like the original because it's cold as fuck, and then Mind Crush because it's also cold as fuck. Once Yugi's victorious, Joey's gassed that Yugi beat Kaiba, but utters to himself something like, "Yugi's so good. I wish I was as good as him." Just to plant some minor seeds of doubt and jealousy which will be heavily played upon later down the line. A week or so later, we see the gang at the school again. Taya beats Joey as usual in a duel. Yugi checks the deck and berates him because it's funny, and later convinces Grandpa to train him. But we actually see like a Rocky training montage, ending with Joey being gifted the Flame Swordsman, which I'm headcanoning to be a normal monster because it being a fusion in the anime enrages me. I know it's a fusion in real life, but if he's not going to play it like one, don't make it one. Following this, Yugi, Joey, Tristan and Taya are sat hanging out in Yugi's living room when Solomon enters the room. He tells Yugi he's received a package from Industrial Illusions, which they're all shocked about, but has no time to open it now as the regional championship finals are about to start. During the scene featuring the championship finals between Rex and Weevil, there's a mention that frontrunner Seto Kaiba has still not been seen or heard from and never turned up to the tournament. When Weevil wins the tournament, Pegasus hands him an envelope and it's revealed that it's an invite to Duelist Kingdom tournament, and as a reward he's been given insider knowledge as to some of the Duelist Kingdom specific rules, just because I think it's a bit stupid that Weevil later on claims to have stolen them, because how would he even do that? Following the duel, the group finally gather around to have a look at the package that was sent to Yugi. Solomon notes that Industrial Illusions is owned by the creator of Duel Monsters and the man that has just handed the trophy to Weevil, Maximilian Pegasus. Once they open it, they find a glove and 2 little stars accompanied by a videotape, which always reminds me of how old Yu-Gi-Oh is and therefore how old I'm getting. Yugi puts the VHS tape into the player and Pegasus is on the screen, but before long we find out this is more than just an innocent tape, as the group are all frozen in time and Pegasus takes Yugi on a trip to the Shadow Realm. Pegasus explains his challenge of a duel on a 15-minute time limit, where the winner will be the person with the most life points at the end of the timer. The duel gets underway and it's quickly revealed that Pegasus is using what he claims to be magic to see Yugi's cards. The duel goes on as normal and ends with Yugi unable to make his attack before the timer goes off. Time goes back to normal and Yugi goes back to where he was, but his grandpa drops to the floor, cold and lifeless. The gang are confused as to what happened, but notice Yugi punching the screen and crying, begging for his grandpa back. A few days later, Yugi is seen on the roof of his school building, giving his inner monologue on how ridiculous this whole situation is, and how he's so unsure as to how he even got there. Following this, we cut to Joey watching a videotape, which if I was him, I'd be more concerned about considering he literally just watched Yugi's grandpa die the last time a tape they were unsure of was played. But nevertheless, it's from his sister Serenity, who is telling him how she's worried about losing her vision and not being able to see him again. But this time, without the line, "I'm sending you this so you don't forget your sister's face," because Serenity is in fact the one going blind, not Joey. After this, we see Yugi getting his invitation to Duelist Kingdom. Taya worries and tells Yugi it could be dangerous, but Yugi feels like he has to go, as it's the only lead he has on saving his grandpa. Tristan then notices the cash prize. Yugi tries to claim, "Who cares about the money?" to which Joey shakes off and gets extremely excited, even though the others won't know why yet. Also Yugi, "I care. I would like 3 million for just playing card games, thank you." Later on, Yugi and Joey are sat together reminiscing about how they became friends. Yugi mentions that Joey and Tristan weren't friends at first. They actually bullied him and tried to throw away a piece of the puzzle before Yugi eventually stood up for them when they needed it. Joey tries hard to justify his actions. He shows resentment, but not because of his actions, but specifically for doing it to Yugi. Yugi also doesn't help them because they were his friends at the time, but because it was the right thing to do. The day changes to night and Yugi is queuing up to get on board the boat to Duelist Kingdom, when he hears a commotion which turns out to be Joey trying to sneak his way on board to be there with Yugi. It all eventually calms down when Yugi manages to bend the rules slightly, gifting Joey a star chip, making him an official participant, and this distraction also allows Taya and Tristan to sneak on themselves. Once on the boat, we are now introduced to Yu-Gi-Oh! Girl Boss and Joey's sexual awakening, My Valentine.
Wow!
Joey loses his mind when he lays eyes on My Valentine, but is annoyed because Yugi gets all the attention from her for beating Seto Kaiba and simply tells Joey that he's fashion challenged and deserves to be crushed.
Please, crush me!
After this, Joey's kicking off about not having a good room when Weevil and Rex enter the room. The four have a conversation. Weevil tells Yugi there's new secret rules on the island that require strategy. Rex mentions it's all about strength, and Joey tries to disagree as he learned from Yugi and Grandpa, but gets irate when Rex shrugs it off. Joey then goes on to just trade some cards. Rex then meets Mai as she's kicking off about not having even a shower in her room, and a lady deserves better. She finds out that Rex actually has a luxury room for finishing in the finals, and asks if she can see it. Taya and Tristan are then knocking about, still trying to hide on the boat, and then they see Bakura. Bakura from school?
Bakura? You mean Bakura from school?
Cutting back to Mai and Rex in Rex's room, Mai challenges Rex to a duel. If he wins, she'll spend the night in the room alongside him. But if he loses, he's out. We then see Joey showing off to Yugi the cards he managed to trade for. Baby Dragon, Kunai with Chain, Salamandra, and Sword and Shield. Joey says that he's ready to win every duel now, but Yugi says it'll probably be a lot harder than that, and gives him the Time Wizard. Mai and Rex are then shown shuffling their cards, and then Mai shows off that no matter how she shuffles the deck, she'll know exactly what cards she's got. And Rex says,
Oh, I think I'm in trouble.
Weevil, Yugi and Joey are then on the boat deck, and Weevil asks to see Yugi's super legendary cards, to which Yugi gives them away like an idiot, and Weevil tosses off the boat. Without hesitation, Joey jumps off the boat. He attempts to save the cards, but he can't do it, continuously promising he'll get them until Yugi has to jump in himself and save him from drowning. Both of them are in real danger, but luckily Tristan and Taya throw down flotation devices and pull them back up. Yugi thanks Tristan and Taya for saving them, but Joey goes on to rant about how he's never able to help anyone, and he's just so sorry, and then he tells them a story about his sister. He explains that whilst they've managed to get back in contact, they didn't get to see each other for years as her eyesight issues got so bad it put so much stress on his parents. His father didn't handle it well, and began to abuse them both, so his mother left with Serenity in order to get her the help she needs, but it might be too late, and the only way he can help her is by winning and getting the prize money. Dawn breaks, and the gang look upon the island, which has now come into view, ready for the many challenges which await them. And that's where I plan on leaving it today. I know there wasn't many changes and they were quite minor, but in following episodes things will definitely ramp up a whole lot, and I can even see myself adding my own custom mini-arcs. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want more, then make sure to show me by liking and subscribing. If there's anything you liked or didn't like, then please leave your ideas in the comments, as I'd be happy to include any ideas that I really enjoy and explain anything you don't understand. In the future, providing this does well, I hope to cover the entire anime and maybe even GX onwards. Also Yu-Gi-Oh games and what ifs to break up the videos in between. So if you'd like that, then leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.